Welcome everyone. I'm at a place called Bychan, which is a lake sort of behind Harlech. It's around like what's called the Rhinog mountains. That's the mountains all around me at the moment. There's no one hill climb today. I'm hoping this will just be a video a bit like a Phil Lovett style let's explore a new place kind of video. I've never cycled around the Rhinogs, despite the fact that they're probably my favourite mountain range or subset of Snowdonia, because they are so underappreciated and underexplored. So here I am at Bychan, stunning lake with at the foot of these mountains, and just down there is almost like otherworldly old mossy rocks and trees and stuff. It's absolutely stunning. There won't be much talking today. I've kind of messed up my cameras, so one of them has no charge and one of them has a little bit of charge, hence this being filmed on my telephone. But I will try and film whatever I can. As you can hear, it's bloody windy. Oh, there goes my bike. I managed to catch it though. Right, that's my cue to get on with it because I am cold. Hopefully I'll see you around the route. So nice little intro here of the standard descent out of Llan. This is the hill that in the Tour of Britain was used as the com, obviously coming the other way, but it's a lovely descent to start any journey. It is absolutely freezing to blast down it in the mornings, but yeah, I really enjoy it. I apologise for whatever's going on with the camera here. That doesn't last for the whole video, so don't worry. It's incredibly wobbly though. As you can see, it's a bit of a nightmare driving around here with all these walled roads that are very fast. And this is where I go a new way, down through Mawddach, and this is the road to Harlech, which in the past Rhiannon has warned me about. Growing up around here, she saw many an accident on this road, but it's a lovely road down an estuary, coming towards Harlech. Then I take my turn off that road and onto this incredible hill. Any second now, I'll give you some thoughts about it from the road. I hope that's coming out on the camera. This isn't even a scheduled climb today. So I may have been exaggerating a little bit there. Obviously I knew it was a climb that was coming, but it wasn't a main event by any means. It was just a way to get off the coast road and up into the mountains. But I wasn't really expecting grades over 25%, switchbacks, etc. It didn't last that long, but you can see that the road surface is pretty abominable. It was really hard to not to either have no wheel spin, so sitting down to have no wheel spin, but then I was lifting my front wheel, which was rather challenging. What I found out around this point in the ride, at least the sun's come out now by the way, you can see that lovely blue sky, found out that I've not maintained my winter bike well enough by any means, and if I go into the 34, I can only really use the 25 and 28 cassettes because the rear mech had seized, so it was jumping if I used any other gears, so it really did limit my selection for this ride. Totally my own fault. Exposed here. I don't know if the camera can catch the view down to the right, but it's sensational. Just feels like I'm riding up the side of a mountain, which I am, but you know, there's no nothing between me and the sea. So So it's here that I'm pretty annoyed that I didn't adequately charge my rear facing camera, and I also didn't check the way it was set up, so I did get a little bit of footage here, but it really didn't work at all. It was footage of my saddlebag and my light, not of the amazing view back down over the estuary and out onto the Vale of Festiniog, which is a shame, but well, hopefully each time I make one of these videos they'll get a little bit better. Unfortunately, because of the angle of the handlebars, you can't see over that wall. There's a stunning panorama out over the sea and the beach around Harlech and Shell Island and so on. Not come out well at all that is the sea in front of me. These like action cameras don't necessarily get that long shot very well. I mean, I might be chatting nonsense there, I know absolutely nothing about recording, but it certainly feels that way. But as you come over here, you get a very different landscape suddenly. This is really the landscape of the Rhinogs and the landscape of this area of coast, which is really popular beaches down there. So then, just down here, I take a left turn and the landscape changes really suddenly.
Are the Rhinog Who knows? The Rhinog Mountains. It's a subset of Snowdonian Mountains, and in many ways it's my favourite because it is by far the least explored. It's very rugged, it's very untamed, because you can see the land around here is not ideal for agriculture.
Absolutely loads of gates around these roads, and I understand, because that's someone's livelihood, you know, keeping those sheep in, so you try and be really respectful and always close every gate behind you, be very polite. Look at the cows on the left here, if I've timed this right. Lovely Welsh blacks. And really, I feel about as far from the city and urbanisation as you can get when I'm riding around here. It's not unspoiled, it's very much shaped by man, and yet it's an absolutely beautiful landscape. I'd actually like to ride up this way. It's a sharp descent with lots of switchbacks. I think one day, even despite all of the gates, I'll have to come and ride this the other way, because this hill caught me by surprise.
No, you're okay. I'm cautious. Hello. Biggest horns I've ever seen. It was sensational. There are wild goats in the Rhinogs, which is cool, I think. It's actually just up to the left. I didn't realise I was going to do a U-E, so it might come out.
In hindsight, probably not that interesting that there's wild goats, but for the UK, wild goats are pretty interesting. So as I've just mumbled there, this is Bychan. No one around. This is where I filmed the intro, you may realise. It's a dead-end road, but this is an old drover's road. There's Roman steps at the end, so hill walkers do come up and they walk from this drover's road up over the Col, where from Roman times onwards, farmers and drovers would have taken their various grazing livestock to go into the valley beyond the Rhinogs. That was a very boring fact, but there you go. Some local discussion there. I just love how completely alone I felt up here with this lake and all of this kind of rocky landscape around me. Very impressive. Fast descent now. This is the main way up or down to Bychan. Love riding along a fast sort of mountain river. It was fantastic to cycle along, and I got loads and loads of footage of it. Because of the position of that wall and the height of my handlebars, you kind of miss out on a lot. So I didn't put that much of it in. I thought it might be quite boring, but well, this is going on longer than I thought. I'd intended to take an extra turn. There's a left turn over this bridge that goes over to Coed-y-Brenin, which is just the next lake across. But I hadn't put it into my Garmin properly, and there is no signal at all. And I think it's really important to not underestimate the mountains around here.
This isn't the nicest road in the world, but the drivers have been top notch for patience and wide passing. And it's a beautiful view of the sea, of the coast. Barmouth is a classic British seaside resort. So when we get there, I'll turn the camera back on, and we'll see some faded glory probably. But this is an area I've never cycled before, and my God, have I done it the wrong way round. I've done my loop with the headwind on the coast and the tailwind inland as I turn left. So I'm probably not going to get much tailwind.
So just coming down into Barmouth now, it's actually a really nice view for quite a long time, but it really doesn't come out on the camera at all. And although I made a fairly snobby joke about faded glory there, Barmouth is really nice. You can see these really impressive mountains these really impressive houses that overlook the sea there. There's a great sort of promenade and classic British beach with the various chippies and that kind of thing, ice creams along there. There were a few nice looking cafes, and I was thinking, why haven't I given myself enough time to stop for a coffee? But there was absolutely no way I could squeeze in a coffee break on this ride. But yeah, it was bigger than I'd anticipated. I've never been to Barmouth properly. I've seen it, but I've never been in, and it was exactly what you'd expect from a nice little seaside town. If I could plot this route again, I wouldn't go straight through the middle. I would go down to the promenade and ride along the seafront. I just hadn't thought that through adequately, really. It would have been much better footage to ride along there. I'm not sure what's going on with my power readings, but I sincerely doubt I was doing 600 watts here. I think something's slightly wrong with that. Here we go. I will have been doing 600 watts to get over this hill, and I've just got like a 5-second lag. I'm definitely not doing 0 watts here. But this is the main reason I came through Barmouth now, is that there's a railway bridge with a cycle path along it that goes over the Mawddach estuary, which is the next estuary down from where I cycled out at the beginning. And again, it's a really impressive piece of land, but many of you may know I've got a thing for bridges. I absolutely love bridges. And so the fact that there's a cycle path, a segregated cycle path along a railway bridge in the middle of an estuary, too good an opportunity to miss. Although you'll see in a sec that the surface is horrendous, and fair play, none of these walkers doing anything wrong, but they do slow you down an awful lot. Everyone was lovely and polite. But I've got the excuse lined up that it probably took about 2 kilometres an hour off my average speed for this ride, weaving through everyone. Not to mention, these boards are so loose, they rattled my headset loose. I actually had to get off and tighten my headset again at the end of this.
Right,
bridge. It is very windy. Stunning bridge across the estuary here, looking out to sea. It's very rickety, but what a highlight of the ride. Beautiful. So this now is called the Mawddach Trail, and it goes all the way from Barmouth to Dolgellau along the estuary. It's not all this nicely paved. Some of it's like loose gravel, as you'll see in a sec. Not loose gravel, like fairly compact gravel actually. It was fine on a road bike, but I probably wouldn't ride it again. But if you were, out for a social ride, it's perfect. And you can see the hill ahead of me. I chose to cycle up that instead. So if you're out for a nice little ride, take the trail. Have you ever seen a climb that starts at the bottom of a house and goes up to the top of the house within the space of the house? Well, I'm going to have a go. Let's see if I survive. Immediately you can see absolute donkey that I am. Forgot to start my camera for the truly steep bit, for the 35% bit, but this is just above that house that I showed you in the terrible side-on footage, which I can only apologise for. I had no idea how to rectify that. And honestly, this is the first time in quite a while that I've sincerely thought I was going to get off my bike. I really didn't believe that I could complete this climb. Not even here, actually. I thought, oh, here's a little bit of respite on this corner. I believe that grade, where it says 23-24%, I believe that. I'm genuinely going 4 kilometers an hour. There, I've just kicked my front wheel because to stay upright, I had to wiggle it as if you do a track stand. And you can see ahead of me that it gets steeper still. Like, this climb was something else entirely. I saw that Andrew Feather had done it in 4.5 minutes for the comp. I thought, right, let's not quite double it for an estimate for me, but it should be okay in, 1.5 times Feather's time, maybe. I honestly can't tell you how hard this was. 42 RPM, I'm putting out 300 to 350 watts in an attempt to save myself to not go too deep over threshold. And I'm genuinely in my lowest gear, that's a 34.28. I don't believe the grade hit 45% there. Something's gone a bit wrong with my Garmin, but I do genuinely think there are significant portions of this that are over 30%. I actually filmed the entire climb, and I was considering doing like my standard climb video up it, but I can't imagine how boring this would be to watch 12 to 15 minutes of me just clinging on for dear life. It's actually really pretty. To the left you can see all of what I've climbed over the estuary, and again I had my rear view camera on and I was filming saddlebag and only saddlebag, so I can't show you any of that. I think again I have a little wobble somewhere around here where I sincerely think I'm probably not going to survive this, and you can see all of these twigs and all this leaf litter. They make it really hard when you're putting so much torque down. Here you go, I'm going 1 kilometer an hour, like that. That's crazy. Yeah, when you're putting so much torque down, the risk of getting wheel spin is really high. But when I sat down on the truly steep bits, my front wheel was lifting because I was leaning so far backwards, which was terrifying. I'd started planning escape routes for, if I fall, if I feel like I'm falling, I want to move over to the left because I might be able to put my hands out on the wall and not just hit the deck completely. Power's dropped way down now. Even though the grade slackened off a little bit, I was just completely dead from that first effort. It's only now that I've braved getting out the saddle again, you can see the change in the way the camera works, because I was too worried about lifting. And I'll tell you now that I'm filming this, I'm thinking I've put too much of this footage in because it's not very interesting at all. So this climb goes from a town called Rhinog, or as someone hilariously graffitied the sign, Warthog, if you spray paint a W in front of it. And it goes up to a place called Cregganon Lakes. There's actually 3 of these. There's this one that I chose to do, which I just thought was cool around the house, but the next one down is the main road to Cregganon Lakes, which is also meant to be a really impressive climb, and when I've finally got over the trauma of this, I will come out and have another go at that one. And then there's one much further down, so I think if I was feeling brave, I could do a route where I sort of weave between the 2 roads, you know, up one, down the next, the final one. And finally, I've put myself out of my misery and I've cut out a large part of that hill. This is me coming to the top now.
Feels stunning though, isn't it? What a day.
It feels like being in a different environment. So we are now in a slightly different landscape because we're south of the Mawddach on the next sort of peninsula that sticks out. Just behind this basically foothill that you can see in front of me, there's Coed-y-Brenin, which is the largest mountain in the southern Snowdonian range, and it was covered in snow, looking resplendent in this sun. And I can't tell you how happy I was that this is mostly downhill, mostly tailwind, and the sun had warmed me through a bit this descent into Dolgellau here. Absolutely lovely road. Thoroughly enjoyed riding this.
Come to Dol. Best coffee in Dol.
To reiterate, CH Roberts.
So the last thing I'm going to do on this ride is a family visit to, and this is going to be tenuous, step-granddad-in-law Richard. Yeah, step-granddad-in-law Richard. Unfortunately, dude lives up a massive hill, so
So I've said Richard lives up a massive hill, and Richard does live up a massive hill. I did film myself climbing the whole thing. What's this cretin doing? Look at how bad that pass is. What an absolute idiot. Yeah, I did want to film the whole hill, but I decided Richard's quite old school and probably didn't want me to put a YouTube video leading you directly to his front door. I thought that would be a bit disrespectful. So here's a little taster of the hill that Richard lives up, but it does go on for quite some way. And honestly, by this point, I was knackered, absolutely knackered. I was really struggling. I'm only, I think, 65 kilometres into this ride. Here we go. This is after Richard's now. This is the back of Coed-y-Brenin. I love these forest roads. This is forestry access road.
YouTube fans, probably the most boring road on the route. Knocks my socks off.
I love this bit of road. It's so, again, so removed from everything. This is through supposedly a hamlet called Abergeirw. I don't think there's even any houses there. I think it's just a chapel that's about 5 miles from any main roads. I've got sort of Bala, 10 miles to the right of me, and Trosvenith, 5 miles to the left of me. But there's really not much around at all, apart from horrible cattle grids. It's proper up and down sort of road as well. Like much of Wales, it's never really flat, I say, as the rate along the set.
The old nuclear power plant, and behind it is home. You can see Llan Dam up the mountain behind it. That's a sign for me that I'm back where I belong. So here we are at the top of Tomanin Moor. It's near an old Roman ruin, but in the background behind me, I hope you can see all of this vista. Absolutely sensational view from up here. And what we've got there is all sorts of interesting things to see. In the near ground, my pointing is going to be absolutely nowhere near anything you can see on screen. Ready for this. This is going to be very low tech.
here is Llan Festiniog. Here is Bychan Festiniog. Up here, ooh, there we go, is Llan Dam. And I mean, the views all around are sensational. I love this mountain here. I think it's called Mawddach Mawr. But in like winter time, it gets snow on top of it, and I tailed Rhiannon and it looks like a Christmas pudding. I absolutely love it. It's all downhill now, apart from the climb into Llan. My ride's been pretty crap, stats wise, but got a load of new tarmac, so that was great. Lovely to see different bits of road. Got to see Richard, so family duties checked off. It was very nice to see Richard. And at least I had a tailwind home. I feel like an absolute cretin for riding down the coast into the wind and inland in the forests with the tailwind where it was really reduced, but still very nice. Knees starting to hurt. I'm ready to get home. Rhiannon's going to be annoyed because I'm going to be well late for the rugby. But hey ho. I hope this comes out as a good video. I feel pretty silly that I messed up so much with the cameras, but hopefully it's something worth watching anyway. Cool, I'll sign off there.